Alright, welcome to the channel. I'm SmileyFaceX and we are back at it. It has been a hot minute since I've put out a video because life just happens sometimes. So thank you everyone that stuck around. Anyone that's new, welcome to the channel. I know I did get a couple of messages in the middle of everything, checking in on me, making sure I'm okay, and I appreciate that. And a bunch of new views on a lot of the stuff as well, which is cool. It's cool that it's growing around. So anyway, let's get back into it. We're going to kick it off with the Tour of Duty, the Shrine District. We haven't done this one yet, and we will use the one-in, all-in, our Ranger squad. We do need some replacement names. Anyone that has all caps, we need a replacement name for. So put your suggestions in the comments, and I'll add them in order of whatever you said them. Just one per person would be preferred, so everyone gets a chance to go in. Alright, Iron Man on, obviously, because we're not a fucking pussy. Let's do it. In saying that, okay, I do have memberships on the channel. It's like a little paid option you can do, which will support me a little bit, which I appreciate. I am going to add a couple more benefits to it, so I'm going to put a list at the start, which you would have seen at the start of this video, on the screen for everybody to see. And additionally to that, whenever I create my shorts, I'm going to release them straight away to the members. So it's a bit of a preview of what's to come in future videos. So if you want to get in early and get a little bit behind the scenes stuff, consider the membership. Alright, so we got, what have we got? A hostage rescue that looks like it's about to expire. Something about XP. And another hostage rescue. We've got 2 doctrine points available, apparently. Okay, well, looks like we're working on this, so let's just trust myself there. And fast reload sounds like a pretty good option as well. Alright, so what's this? Around for 1 more day. That's got 2 more days, so a little bit longer. Let's go the not very long one. Seems like the way to do it. Another hostage rescue mission. This time, it's a house east of Pilgrim's Rest. Strong intel says they have 2 hostages. We have not been able to positively identify who the enemies are, but their strength is at least 13 hostiles. Okay, at least. That's good to know. Hostages. Okay, that's daytime. Okay, that helps. Hostage rescue though, very interesting. Let's have a look at this map before we chuck anyone in. Locked door here, and locked door here. So the only 2 entrances to the buildings are both locked doors, and there's no alternate unless we were to make our own, which is super risky when you have a hostage rescue. This is my one gripe with the random map generator. When it creates buildings, is it just has an entry. Nearly every building, unless you're specifically building it to be a fucking death box, has 2. Like an entry and then an exit, emergency or backyard or anything. I just wish I had options. Okay, so what do we need? We don't need machine guns. We don't need sniper rifles. Shotguns are probably going to be pretty useful, so I think shotguns and assault rifles are the go. I don't think I'll need grenade launcher. This can easily be fragged. This might be fragged as well. Maybe a GLA to deal with that. Just one might be the option. So let's put him in first. Who's the rookiest dude? I guess Nomad or Swanson. Yep, let's go Swanson. He looks like the dude to do it. Okay, we got 3 more spots. So let's go 2 assaulters and a shotgunner. Yep, Frowny's in. And let's go. What was the other one? June can come in. As well as looks like Lemons.
Affirmative.
I didn't really look at their assault shooting skill. Oh yep. Fair call. That guy's really good at it. Okay, not so good, but that's alright. Alright, let's have a look. How are we going to tackle this? We've got our 4 guys. We obviously want our GLA watching the long angle, covering that, and probably covering any squirters here. So he's more of our outer cordon stopping people from getting to our first building, which is likely going to be this. We could always bypass this, but I think I just want to hit it. Okay, the main threat room is the first room. It's got couches. That's where most people be hanging out, followed by this one here. And then potentially guys flushing out of those other ones into these big living rooms. Once we get to there, there's like a final hold-up point potentially. So I expect the hostage to be back here. We can check this by taking out these drapes pretty easily, as long as this isn't getting in our way. If we can get a guy right here, we can crack the drapes, because we know because of that table, there's not going to be anyone standing there, so it's a free opening. Potentially use the spy camera to have a look as well. And maybe that is an entry point, and we work our way to the east. Because coming in through here is, we don't have a lot of space to work with either side of this because of the wall. A couple of dead spots that potentially have people. If this opens, it starts to be complicated. And especially when you've got, what are these called? Opposite doors. It's always awkward because you're immediately in a fatal funnel with a lot of jobs to deal with. So I think this is my preferred entry point if I can get it. I'm a little bit worried about this popping and this popping. Which is my one downside. And it kind of takes my GLA out of his job as well. Interesting. I'll see if we can crack this. If we can crack this, we're definitely doing it that way. And then we're just going to take this one at a time, nice and gently. Because we can put a guy here. This is a pretty nice spot. It's only if this cracks that it's an issue. So maybe something like this, if we can get it, might be a little bit better. But there's always the possibility of a huge flank as well. So maybe I need to devote somebody to that. I don't know. It's tough to say, tough to say. Alright, so we definitely want slaps. We want a camera. And then I think we just want frags and bangs. I don't think we need anything else. A wall charge might be good if there's a pretty big threat and we know that the area doesn't have any hostages. Then a wall charge could give us the drop. Like if we use a camera on this, see that this is just all bad guys, wall charge here, take me out on the couch. That's a lot of the work already done. So let's do some loadouts and then we'll get fucking into it. I'll be right back. Alright, we have our loadouts. We have Frowny with the suppressor Mark 18. We just bought it with some of our monies. So the suppressor, the sight, which is red dot, and the Mark 18 were the purchases that we got. He's got a couple of frags, a couple of bangs, and a camera. June has very similar, except wall correction, door breaches. Door breaches, what are these called again? Slaps. Oh my god. Lemons has our shotgun, not suppressed, so we don't want to use this guy until we go loud, but once we go loud, we can use him. He's got a wall breach in case we need it. Then we have Swanson with some smokes, because you never know with smokes. He's got his Mark 17 suppressed for that slightly longer punch. So let's put people in slightly better positions. And then we can get into it. Our two assaulters charging this way. Grenadier with good eyes there. And our shotgun is probably going to be rear and flank until we need him.
Lock and load.
Let's get going. We actually don't want to be quiet. So let's take that off. Okay, this guy just has really terrible lines of sight right now. Okay, let's do it this way. I don't know if this is going to be an issue coming around here. Yeah, okay, so this being a threat is super annoying. But it's okay. I mainly want to clear out the front of this vehicle. It's a low chance, but anything I can do to mitigate chance, I will. And then I need to keep an eye on, who's this? Frowny. If this connects to the gate, because if it does, that can be a spot for my shotgunner. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, it definitely does, so our shotgunner's gonna plant himself Okay, I need to jump the fence. That's super annoying. He's going to plant himself there facing that junction. Awesome. This window is a very small threat, but it hasn't popped yet. Let's just keep pushing with these lads. Let orange do the work. And our whole plan has changed because now the northwestern building is being cracked. Okay. And there's the hostage. And it's the executioner. And he's running for it. Fuck me. Okay, he's going to run straight for this door here. So we need to get this angle. So we need to sprint with pretty much both of them. Can I see over that? I can, but it's probably not worth it. Once we get to like here, we need to be looking in. There's obviously heaps of threats that I am not paying attention to right now. Which is going to be, hopefully, Orange's job to deal with. Otherwise, this might be a very, very short level. He's not running? What? What is happening? Why didn't he start running? Anyone? Yeah, this is over before it begins. Unless I can catch him on the window. Oh, I can't even really get there.
Roger.
Maybe that is like the last safe moment. This is the only chance. Yeah. Oh, there's a second one, there's a second one, there's a second one. You can get him. Okay. Oh, that's so annoying. Terrible, terrible start. Okay, well. Looks like we're taking the northwestern building first. Oh my
Primary target
shit.
killed. Mission failed.
Well, so where did he even get seen? Come on, dude. I was looking that way, and then he stopped moving. And this guy just... Oh, that's so frustrating, man. I don't know what you're supposed to do about that. This guy just
Primary
explodes.
target killed.
You can't get to that window, so you can't get him early. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Let me know. I might have to run that random seed back, but yeah. Give it a go. Tell me how you go with that level, because that seemed pretty stacked against me. Okay, we got 2 more, clear hostiles and an abduction. Let's have a look. Is there any difference to the rewards? Doesn't look like it. That abduction is tiny, dude. Yeah, right. Clear hostiles in an apartment map is pretty dangerous. So what I'm looking for now is kind of threat level. Let's read some of the briefs. Alright, so a lot of them have a lot of enemies. This one, it's unknown, but it's tiny. So we're going for the HVT. I think we can get this one done pretty cleanly. It doesn't look like there's an escape route, so let's give this one a go. Beautiful. There's no escape, so we're just going to bash our way through this. These look like they're placed so we can't wall breach in. We can wall breach this, though, for an alternate there. We really only have one option here, but it's not too bad because this takes off a pretty nice chunk of the room for us. I think the thing that we need to be most cautious of is just the suicide bombers. It's always a concern in close combat. And I don't think there's any brief about Yeah, it doesn't say anything about civilians, so civilians optional, I guess. The HVT has nowhere to run, so we don't need to worry about suppressors. We can just go in loud, hard, and fast. Let's put lemons in. A shotgunner is always nice for something like this. I think a camera is really good as well. We just used these guys last mission, but honestly, they need some redemption. So let's just put them fucking straight back in. Everyone's back in except for who do we have? Nomad. Yeah, he's on the bench still. So what do we got? We got slaps. We got a wall breach. We almost definitely will not use the wall breach, but this looks pretty good.
Lock and load. Let's do this.
What was the shift V, shift C? No, there was something to turn off these go quiets. I can't remember what it is. It's been so long since I played. Yep. Let's give these a look. Post some cover back a fair bit. Give it a look before we actually commit to the slap, which we're almost definitely doing. Yep. An insurgent. Okay, 3 in this room. That's okay. That's not really an issue.
Roger.
Swap these boys around.
Turn set.
Let's put this guy on thumbs up. He's going to be doing most of the work. Okay, we actually unveiled a second threat, so we're gonna swing out. Who's this? Lemons? Oh, nah, Lemon is not the guy to do that. Not with that weapon, bro. You're taking the close angle. Good crossfires. Everyone's kind of flooding out to us right now. We just need to hold some angles. Okay, good. We do have an angle here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to back up Frowny just a little bit. Starting to run our rounds. We have long cover with June. Now there's small angles here that are a little bit annoying. What I want to do is take this with Lemons, because he currently doesn't really have a job. But these angles are pretty nasty. Specifically this top one. Okay, if I reach here and someone's sitting here, I'm pretty much dead meat. So we're going to frag that, and then we're going to go. In a way, he's going to kind of cover himself. Let's start pushing. As soon as we're through the breach, start looking towards the corner. Once the corner is clear, we are swinging towards this room. And it's only once we reach here that we want to really pause when we need to. Okay, these guys can now exploit a little bit further because we know that it is mostly pretty secure.
Got him.
Shotgun waiting for us, but that is room dealt with. Let's just double check that corner. Check there's no one hiding on the bed, which isn't possible in this game. But hey, we got to check it anyway, right? Do our due diligence. Then push forward into the next room. We're getting nice close range now, which is why I want to try to use the shotgun more and more and more. And one at a time, we are filtering in. Alright, we do have an option to wall breach kind of right here, which might expose some more angles, which, I mean, could be interesting. I think putting a guy here to breach is a terrible idea and will likely get them killed. I think just here is just as bad. So I kind of like the wall breach option. We'll see what we can get. That's pretty good, honestly. We're going to make sure we're covering just about everywhere once we do make this go bang.
Ready to burn.
Okay. So. Our options are, okay, we can put 2 people here. So we got one covering that way, one covering that way. By having them back to back, there are very, very small spots where they can get shot from inside the room where the person that's covering can't get them. Or we could potentially put them just at the back there, and that's probably a much safer option. So I'm going to do that one instead.
Got him.
Okay, looks pretty good. I'm going to work with... Oh, this is tricky because he's got this angle. I'm going to work with June. And I want June and Lemons to move together. At least until they get to over here.
Hands in the air. Target
Okay, we found the HVT. Just need to maintain eyes on. And then we need to exploit the rest of this room. Okay, we don't normally want to go past or like in front of friendlies, but because he's got his hands up, no weapon, I think we can bring our weapon to bear if we need it. So I'm going to cut June off instead of going around the back of June. If we would move June forward and come around the back, something like this. If an enemy was to pop out, they could just kill June. So obviously we don't want that. So we're going to go cut off June temporarily. She's fine. Job's fine. And HVT is secured. I guess this is one of those levels where they could have reinforcements, which is always scary, but we should probably cover for that as well.
Hands behind your back. Primary target secure.
Ah, there we go.
Good job.
Job done. Alright, that one was much, much easier out of the options that we had. We get Frowny put in the work again. Lemon's done pretty nice, and June got into the action just a little bit. Let's have a look how it all went down. First entry, really good shooting by this member. I think that's Frowny. And then a really nice crossfire established as soon as that long angle opened up.
Frag out. No
Covering, that's like covering by fire in a way, or kinetically clearing something. And then the shotgun, just exactly what we need a shotgun for. Taking out machine gunners. Look at this pile of dead bodies, dude. What a way to fucking bring the mission back. Hell yeah. I think this was another smart play. I could have killed the HVT, but the odds of him being right in one of these corners is pretty low. And if I'm being completely honest, I forgot it was a HVT mission. I was just trying to kill cunts.
Tango down.
But, lucky us, it worked out. Never punished.
Hands in the air. Target located.
Another thing I noticed, small mistake, but as June was crossing behind Lemons, Lemons was cutting off her weapon and it was actually lowered. Really bad.
Good job.
Alright, we're on to day number 3, and because it's our first episode back, let's do a third mission. We have objective Searing Walk, which is a clear hostiles with intel reward, it looks like. That sounds really nice. And another hostage rescue. I am almost always going to go for the intel, especially because it's a go kill dudes. Let's have a look. We're going out to remove enemy forces from their own backyard in the northeast quarters. Enemy forces, 32 to 40 poorly organized insurgents. There are civilians. Okay, well that's good to know. We got some mobility slots over there, and then we got... Ooh, okay. Southeast, northeast, or just eastern spawns with 2 building compounds and a bit of a shanty town market stall kind of area, which are normally very, very annoying to clear. Okay, just because there's a lot of dead angles everywhere, it's very annoying. You kind of have to work as a stack. You can't just kind of hold things. But what we can hold really well are these compounds. There's only limited access into them, so as long as we can get to the compound, I think we can hold it. Like, with relative ease. And movement isn't too bad, I'm gonna say. Because what I'm thinking is we do secure this little area. Okay, just a quick check, like we're not going past this. This is a limit of exploitation. Then we go this way. We post up a guy on security. We keep going. We post a guy on security here. We keep going. Someone clears that. We keep going. Security here. When we need more guys, the last guy just watches the rear and then comes in. And eventually we just bring everybody into the point of breaching this building. From there, we just cover the exits or entries to the building before making the second round and then finally clearing all the hard stuff. I think if we try to muck around in here, there's a lot of really nasty angles that people can get us at and we can really get in trouble. So I think we want to avoid this best we can. It might even be worth considering some smoke, but I don't know if we want to go that far. Maybe for something like this, which is a bit more complex. That looks like a pretty nice position. Alright, let's have a look at who we want to bring in, okay? Obviously, assaulters are always good. Shouldn't say obviously, I apologize. Little pro tip, if you say obvious, then you probably shouldn't be speaking, right? Because at that stage, it's belittling or demeaning to the other person by saying obviously, as if you expect them to know it already. So, just explain it instead. Anyway, tangent over, let's get back into it. Let's go with, I'm trying to decide, this is a monster machine gun position. It is so nice, but there are civilians. So would I rather use a precision rifle? Probably not, because it's still pretty close range, but maybe one of the closer range marksman rifles? I don't know, do we have close range marksman rifles? What do we got? The long barrel. Okay, not too bad. It's kind of like a DMR. Yeah, honestly, we can probably get it done with a long barrel. Alright, so one of these boys is coming in. Who has good marksmanship? This guy, Warlock. Yep, Warlock's the fucking man. You coming in? Yeah, so we're going to start up top. I don't like this one as much, just because this is all chain link, so it's a lot more open, a lot harder to defend, a lot easier to attack. So I'd rather attack that one rather than try to defend it. Okay, we haven't really thought about the buildings too much, honestly. And I think that's okay. I think we can always get a wall breach here if we need one. And clear our way back through it. We don't want to hit that because we're just... It's too many people required on security to hit that. Whereas here, you know, we can clear it from the window, post one guy here, the other guy's here somewhere, and that leaves us 4 to do the business with 1 entry and exit as per most of these randomly generated missions. Okay, sorry. Fucking keep getting caught up. I distract myself too much. Alright, so we have a marksman. Do we want a GLA in an environment as volatile as this with all the civilians? Oh, it's another long range option, so maybe let's give Slick a whirl, because Slick has some pretty decent assault shooting with decent enough marksmanship, so we'll give him a run. And then we're going to fill the squad out with assault guys. I don't think we need any support, aka machine guns or shotguns, just because the spread when there's civilians involved is just a risk I don't really want to take. So let's go. Frowny's in, because I think we're running out of people with names. June is in. Romeo. Luch. Yep, perfect amount of guys. Alright, I'm going to do some loadouts, and I'll be back with you momentarily. Be right back. Alright, I've done the loadouts. We have Brownie with the camera. We've switched to M4s with the Spectre sight, so we got that medium range going on with the M4 round. June has the same weaponry but slaps. Romeo has the grenade package, so a couple of smokes never goes astray. Luch has the bolt cutters. I don't think I'll need them, but there is some chain and shit on this one, so I may as well give it a go. What is this? We can upgrade? Alright, we'll look at that later. Warlock, he's got his Mark 17 long barrel and some slaps and the second pair of smokes. Slick has got the Mark 17 GLA with the wall breach, and all of them have all-round sappies. Because we're going through a little shanty town, we are not going to be perfect moving through this as much as we'd want to be. So we do need that little bit more protection, especially on our sides. Let's get into it. So, first and foremost, let's clear our way out of this little corner. Something like that. Lead the way with June. Holy, I didn't think there'd be this much movement off the bat. It's kind of scary. We're about to clear towards our own friendlies, which is never a good option. But our little portion is good to go. Give them a friend, because it's always good to have two. These two can just tag on. Alright, swing this guy around, see what we can see. And first threat. Okay, now we need to cover the entry/exits. We can probably do that a little bit better from this position, but I don't think we need to. I think we can just bring this guy down, and that's a pretty good sight line just there.
Go Tangos!
Alrighty. He is going to be slightly exposed to this angle, so we do need to take it. And there is a very sliver here that could get me, but I don't think I can really account for that very well. So I'm going to ignore it. What we can do is put our GLA on a better position though. Come around here. That kind of solves a lot of that issue. Probably just here is perfect. And then everyone else can keep on moving. So Luch is going to collapse and join the stack. Alright, let's keep this good thing going. Frowny is now taking the number 1 position. He should definitely be on hold fire. He's probably already grabbed too much. The fact that that's an SMG and a pistol... Yeah. It's probably a fight that I can take and win, but I think it's a fight that I don't need to take and win. So I'm going to... Holy, this dude cannot throw a fucking flashbang to save themselves. Alright, there's not really good options for throwers. I don't know why, just everyone's a Muppet arm on my team. So let's... I mean, shit. Let's just throw it from here. At least we get some kind of an effect. And then we can go again. I wish the first time I peeked I had the thumbs up. It would have been much more effective. I kind of want to hold the second angle just in case some shenanigans happen. Good kills, good accuracy. And we got 2 in the breach, which is awesome. So we've got top half is covered by, looks like June, and the bottom half by Frowny. Let's keep working what we've got. Okay, we are looking at a pretty long range right now, so I think I'm going to put Warlock on that job. Did get a threat.
Tango down.
Okay, now that he's in position, we're going to push. Frowny's going to come around and push down the slope. We want to take hold hold fire off, because we need to get out of the line of sight of our two friendlies, so we need to move. There's no options here. We want to use this wall as cover. There should be a small angle here, so I guess it's better if we push across to this wall. That kind of covers us for all our bases. That is beautiful. All right, we have one gap absolutely covered. We need to cover this and cover this while we clear here and get our sniper into position. Which means Luch and June, it's time for these two to do some work. Okay, that's the best angle that way. This is the closest angle this way. Let's get into the fold, and then we can work it from there. Yeah, I'm willing to do the hold fire.
Got him.
Nice, 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 nice. Keep working this a little bit more. There are some little angles, not gonna lie, a little bit scary. Okay, about here is where we have to do a flip, also known as a T. We're going to take that off because we want to get to our shooting positions. We are revealing more angles this way. We kind of need a third, but we also don't have space. Okay, because we need to clear this and this simultaneously, it does prevent slight angles here, especially because that's a built-up angle. I don't know how much that can see. Does this make me want to change our plan? If we go this way, not that way, like this way, and then flow this way. Okay, we can take that easily enough, and then it only exposes us to this angle, which this is pretty problematic, I'm going to say. I think I'll just draw another dick. Nice. It might be a better option than what we're currently looking at. I think the T... Yeah, I don't like the T, honestly. It's it exposes too much. It's not a risk I'm willing to take right now. I want... Yeah, June just needs to be able to cover this, just in case. Alright, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to bring up a Romeo. And I think it's a good time to smoke this off. If this is smoked, then we can still do our original plan. And yellow can still cover that once we are out of the way.
Popping smoke.
Alright, so smoke is up. Now we can do our T with relative safety, staying out of the way. We can do this nice and steadily. Do not need to rush. Okay, heaps more civilian movement. That's fine. Green is now supporting, or Romeo is now supporting the Luch. And Luch is going to take the widest possible angle, which gives you the most depth and is the safest option. This guy has no fucking idea what he's doing. And that is all but clear. We're going to double check some of these close corners just to avoid all doubt. And we're going to post some people up on security. Yeah, good, 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 good. Okay, now that we have security, we can move Warlock into his position. We haven't cleared out the close, so we might... Yeah, I mean, we can always just use the smoke. I think we want to use the smoke here, and we're going to sprint most of the way. Once we get to here, we do want to do that. So we still want to use the smoke to cut off some long angles. And now that we have every... Ooh. Yep. The smoke dissipated, which led to this. Very unfortunate. Yeah, I didn't really consider the smoke dropping, to be honest, and that angle there. It's a pretty nasty one. An SMG. We do have eyes on those, so hopefully Romeo gets the counter. We can either push June closer, is probably the easiest way to deal with it, but exposes more, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's to pull back. Okay, we did deal with that.
Tango down. Clear.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And that was a suicide bomber as well. Alright, so we got the best Overwatch position we can possibly get. I'm just going to go back and forth just a little bit until centralizing, just to see any weird angles. Looks like everything is all good. Alright, now we have created our movement corridor, right? So we have cover for all of our lanes, and now we can get to where we want to get to. This still scares me just a little bit, because I'm sure I could almost do a montage of how many times I've been fucked over by one of these things. And good news is I don't have to jump over that barricade. That's what I was just testing just then. But what we should do is run this guy all the way around, and it's not until he reaches kind of this position here that he actually needs to look somewhere kind of important. Okay, we have given up our 6 just a little bit, but that can be easily solved by also collapsing Frowny, who will now watch this corner and this corner simultaneously. Which is probably best done on this side. There might be... No, I don't think there's an angle on Frowny. Alright, some more small angles are being cut off. We've cleared quite a lot. Who is next to move? So this is pretty important. This also needs to be dealt with before we go this way. So I think green needs to move to take as much of this away as possible. He shouldn't be exposed here, I don't think. There might be a sliver, but I don't think it's enough to get a shot in. He should probably be thumbs up. Enemy coming, just wait it out. Good kill, good kill, good kill. Frowny's probably the only one that needs a reload. I'm gonna do it right now. He's at the 6.
Loading.
Okay. Now that he's there, we can push June back into the breach if we wanted, which I kind of do. It's just a... It just covers off those little angles a little bit better. But it does risk suicide bombers a little bit. Alright, now we need to cover off this angle and breach this. Interesting. We could potentially smoke this to take these and stack someone here ready for the smoke to dissipate. We've already got good coverage on this side, so I kind of really like that play. Where is our smoke? It's Romeo. Okay, we can't really cover him throwing, so we're just going to raw dog it. And hope that an enemy doesn't come at the exact moment. Alright, now it's time to, once again, get into the breach. Let's get the boys rolling. Thumbs up everywhere. And then while they're doing that, old mate is going to come across and jump on the stack. We really need to start collapsing people, getting ready to move inside the, whatchamacallits, inside the little compound. Okay, I want to push just that little bit more, just because we're going to have to cross this line of fire, and I just really need to know if it's clear or not. Okay, that is kind of beautiful. We could do something a little bit cheeky with Slick and just pop this corner. Expose ourselves to the whole lot, but gives us decent information. The problem is, though, it's not good information, right? So let's say we check this and it's all clear. Happy. However, as soon as we give it up and go into the compound, that isn't clear anymore, and we're just going to have to re-clear it. So it's not worth the small, like, 2 meters. It's not worth the risk. We're better off holding more stable firing position, better. Lower risk option. Alright, let's collapse just about everybody back and focus on what we need to focus on. The rear and flank will be covered by June because she is the lowest health. We're looking to make entry with Frowny and Luch. Beautiful. Let's get Frowny over to his side that he wants to be on. And Luch is already where he wants to be. I haven't been counting the enemies, which is probably a decent idea. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. How many did it say there was? Oh, okay. So we're probably about halfway. That's not bad. We haven't even hit a compound yet. Okay, because these boxes trim off a lot of the line of sight, I think Luch gets to go first. Oh, they don't. Oh, okay. Well then, unfortunately, this turns into a T. I didn't really want to do a T here. But you've got to make do. I'm really scared of this drum blowing up. Alright, let's see it. Beautiful. And now we can collapse just about everybody. We can just put... We're probably going to keep Warlock there and just have a 4-man squad here, if I'm being honest. We can keep June as the rear and flank for that position. That's not bad. There are... I don't think there's angles this way. Nah, that's fine. Okay, so we got a good rear and flank position that has some security. Everybody else is going to flood in and collapse. Starting with Slick. This is the only threat on the way in, so we need to make sure we watch that. He's super slow, and he's definitely not going to be first to the punch, so we need Green to come in as well. Alright, beautiful. It's going to be Romeo and Frowny that are going to be working this corner. The way that this window is lined up, I don't know why there'd be a couch looking straight at a window, which looks at a wall and a fucking explodey boy. It doesn't seem like the best, view. Okay, that's really good. We can blast this open, and it gives us a pretty good amount of information. There's already a sliver here, which is super annoying when this happens. Does that change my play at all? I think it might. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. For one really good reason. Okay, if I pop this and I get into a gunfight, if rounds hit this, I'm not going to be too happy with myself. So instead, we're going to continue to work the external of the building, as you always should, until we have isolated our planned entry point. Once we're there, then we can change our tactic a little bit. I don't really want Slick in the building just because his weapon isn't very well suited for it. So we're going to swap him out with Luch. We're going to get Luch up in the stack. Cool. Another man bites the dust. This is where things get a little bit annoying because it's really narrow. So it's going to be annoying to check the window and check this angle. Specifically like a dude sitting right there. Probably worst case scenario. That being open's real bad as well. Let's quickly check it and then get back. Okay, it is good. We are holding both long and the entry, which means it's perfect for a breach. Who is my breacher? Fuck me, it's Slick. Guess what? We are swapping back. Not too early. I thought about moving both of them at the same time, and I thought, no. You know, do the controlled option. Make sure you're not doing it until you need to. Yada, yada, yada. Actually, we can hold this, I think, until the breach is about to be going. Yeah, because sometimes I get lazy, right? And I just move them back this way. This guy moves immediately. And then someone rolls around the corner and just fucks up my dude. It's good, that little bit of holding. Doesn't pay off very often, but when it pays off, it's worth doing. Holy, there's a bit of work going on.
Ready to burn.
Ready to burn. That is good to go. I always accidentally click the wall charge button sometimes. Alright. That is a good breach. I don't really want to enter with Slick, so I won't. We don't really need to push that side at all. Nice.
Got one.
Yeah, that corner is as clear as we can possibly get it. We can chip into that room just a little bit more. And then switch for long. Yeah, that room is a little bit scary. I think I'm going to flash it just because I am doing a button hook. As in, I'm coming around full. If I was just coming through this way, I could probably just take it. But a button hook is a little bit more scary. Once we get here, we can actually kind of exploit this window just a little bit. There are going to be small angles, maybe. Probably not from there. Just here is super annoying, but get it out of the fatal funnel. That angle just gets worse. Alright, we need to eat that. We need to eat that angle. It's not something that I'm willing to accept. Beautiful. Alright. Now, ideally, we'd like to switch Romeo and Slick, because Slick has the longer weapon. And this is a bit of a long job, and this is a bit of a closer job. So I think we'll do that. We got time. There's no need to rush. I think that's something that I get caught up with sometimes, is I just want to be... Sometimes I just want to be entertaining and try to keep the tempo going of the video the whole time. When sometimes it's just better to make the safe play. Alright, now that we got both men ready, locked, and going, we can take the responsibilities. Chip away at the next issue, and then keep pushing from there. Got a corner fed room here, which is a little bit awkward. This room and this room are the main living room, so I do want to flash these.
Finger out.
Living rooms are where people, you know, tend to gather up. So whenever possible, you want to do something to make your life easier when you make entry, because otherwise you might just get caught out. So that's where you'd normally use a bang, just like we did. This one is a little bit more awkward because we lose a lot of SA as we go about our business. I don't want green to move first there. Yeah, this door really gets in the way. That being open is pretty annoying. Not the worst thing in the world, just annoying. The main things this pillar and this door make this entry in particular pretty dangerous. That's the best angle I can get, and it's not a good one. We do get a really nice flash though, so we're going to make use of it. Sounds like there's somebody. Might be a civilian though. Okay, we're going to run this. Run the rabbit, as it's called. First guy in, second guy stops and holds. Oh, I should have taken the thumbs up off that member. Okay, building clear though. Let's finish clearing the compound. Yep, probably best with green. It's actually best with this guy here, but he kind of has a lot of jobs right now. If I was to clear it with Slick, as he comes down, he's exposing himself to here, and to here. So even though he has depth, which is normally what you want, he's actually the higher risk one. So we are just going to pop it and go with green. Double check the other way just to make sure. Happy days. Alright, now we're going to try to push across to this next compound before tackling the shanty. So, it's time to get all the lads out. We're still using these 4. We don't really need the other 2. They're a pair. Like, we can't have this guy unless he has this guy. So we'll make a little smiley face out of that because they need each other and they're happy days with their little team. We can start working these longer angles just a little bit. Okay, we have given up the window, but we can take that back. Suicide bomber. Another long angle. And we can start working this a little bit as well. We don't have... We need to get to this corner here is where we need to get to with green for him to actually, you know, be a worthwhile, productive member of what we got going on. Okay, crossing this is annoying, I think. Ideally, I think we want to smoke this and push this with purple while holding the smoke with green. Oh man, there's a lot of issues here as well, because it's a chain link fence. So, the easiest option, the easiest option would be if we frag this and then push to this wall. And then we take the lane. And then from there we can work the rest of this. The problem with that is there's a civilian presence. And this might just kill a civilian. We could just flashbang, but that doesn't really solve the problem because we need to look this way. We can't afford to really look that way at all. So, I'm sorry if there's a civilian here, but this might be your last days on Earth. Cool. Now we can work what we wanted to. I want to make sure that I'm holding at least part of the window. And then Slick can come by and do what he needs to do. Beautiful. No dead civilians. Even more beautiful. Okay. Do we want to work our way around the back? And I think so, because then we're going to be working towards the next threat. If we go this way, then eventually we get caught in this weird front and rear are going to be an issue type situation, which we obviously do not want. I want to take this lane. There's a threat. Does the Overwatch get him? Kinda. Part of the Overwatch gets him. Alright, this corner is annoying. There's a couple of little spots. I don't know how much I should react to them. I think if we push out here, we're exposing ourselves to a couple of little issues. So I think I might just not do that. I think I'm going to bring everybody around this way. Okay, Brownie also kind of needs a job. That's definitely not it. Yeah, he's watching the window. The problem with the window, okay? The problem with the window is that it creates an issue. If we look too much this way, we can get done this way. If we come this way to look in, can we do that? There's a couple of... Nah, that probably can't. Maybe... Oh, there's a couple of iffy angles, but I think we need to go quick for this piece of wall. We get straight here, which covers that. And the next guy straight on that wall as well, covering that way, just in case. So let's go for that. Brownie's going to be in the hot seat. Okay, straight for that piece of wall. Once we know that it's not a threat, we can look at the next corner. Oh, we want to take that off. And now it is time to go with purple as well. Past the window, because windows you can shoot through, which means the enemy can shoot through. Yeah, good drills, good drills. That's why we send the most dangerous enemy location. Make sure our lead guy looking that way goes first. Okay, now that we're covering that, we need to get these guys into better positions, because currently Luch is where Slick wants to be. And Romeo really doesn't have a job anymore. So we're going to collapse Romeo.
Clear.
Alright, and then I think we might just keep going with Romeo, to be honest. Get him holding the corner. There's an issue with the window as well, is the problem, which is going to be Frowny's job. Okay, here we go. We got a small crossover. We always want to avoid these, but... Alright, now that he's dealing with that... Oh, there's a lot going on with this, because we're revealing this and this, so we can't take a super tight angle. I just need to be really careful with Frowny here. We need to hit the middle ground. We need to be in between. Yeah, I don't know where's best. Yep. He needs to be thumbs up. Thank God there was cover there, because they actually got a beat on Romeo and started shooting. It was only because the first round missed that Frowny got his shot off. Otherwise, he would have been stunned. Okay. We can adjust that a little bit better, so we're watching that. And now we can safely bring in Old Mate. I probably want to be on the other side of the window, let's be honest. For the same reasons that I mentioned before. Alright, from here, Luch can probably afford a reload before coming to the window to watch that. Same time, Romeo needs a reload, but I'm going to ignore it because I really want to take this long. Once he takes this, then I can back him around the corner and reload him.
Wilco.
Because I've got this covered. Alright, put him in the corner. And that's you for pretty much the game. I think it's pretty safe to jump in the window. No, it's not. What am I saying? It's not even fucking close. Which means we need to pass this to make entry. But there's not really enough room. Okay. Okay. Can't really get a nice... I mean, we could get a flash in, I guess. Luch is probably the one to flash. Let's do that with Luch. Let's get a bang in here. The reason why we need to bang this room is because as we swing it, we're also going to reveal ourselves to these areas here. And this is another like living room, a key room within the building that will very likely have threats. So we need to be a little bit more careful with that. Frowny is pretty much just stopping the enemy QRF.
Figure out.
Okay, and we're probably going to take this with Luch, actually. We can just come straight on in, just fucking raw dog it. Because green also wants to push past. More so than hold. But you never really want to do anything alone, but I think with the flashbang, we're kind of supported enough that we can get it done. That is beautiful. We have a really good kind of grab on this now. We can push past with green because we have kind of nullified a lot of their job. Quick check and then back up a little bit. Alright, this lane could have guys, this lane, and then obviously the shanty, but we're not quite done with this building. These are always scary just because of suicide bombers, but before we get there, I think we want to use... Yeah, I think we want to use Luch to come over and handle this. We've kind of got two issues right now. If we bypass this to go in this way, somebody could come out, potentially flank Romeo or Luch. And if we hold this and bring this guy across, someone could potentially push into Luch. So what we can do is potentially back up so we can cover both. And then this guy can drop before taking up responsibility again. Okay, now that he's got responsibility again, hate to say it, but we have to cross over once more. And then Frowny's going to take this top room here before we tackle the finishing one, hopefully. That room looks pretty good, if I'm being honest. I'm not too worried about it. A little bit of space there. Beautiful. Just double check it from close. Alright, last room. Who has bolt cutters? Yeah, I don't like how this is setting up, but I will use the camera because I am pretty terrified. If I had slaps, I would probably slap this door. If I had slaps. Which I know I do on one of these guys, but... Alright, room clear, which is really nice. Now we just need to fight our way back out to the exit. And the good news is, because we held this, we don't need to worry about the northern sector. We just want to worry about the southern. We can get some reloads in. We don't really need them, but we will anyway. Okay, first things first. Let's get people out. Push the long just halfway so that Frowny can push in closer and take the lane. Beautiful. That allows Slick to work a little bit more. And now we're kind of consolidating, right? We want to clear it from the top down just because yellow is already looking straight at us and there's a risk of blue on blue. Which, even though that does not exist in this game, I do want to, you know, do things properly if I can. Now, yellow doesn't... I'm a little bit... I just want to check this. I just want to check it. Alright, it is good. Now we can decide how we want to push out. I think this guy wants a friend, I think. Don't know where this guy wants to look, but I think he wants a friend. I think I want to push that way. We could also just kind of like line dudes up and kind of run it. I'm not opposed to either. If we're doing that, it makes a lot more sense to keep one dude here and everybody else just fucking leaves out this way. This is the better way to take it. So we're going to do that. That's how we're going to take it. Cool. Let's start collapsing dudes and bringing them to a stack. The reason why it's a little bit better is because we just get really nice coverage. We got 3 lanes. We don't really need a support on each of these because we just already have a lot of supporting units. I just really don't expect there to be that many issues. So the first one we can take is this one here. This will be Luch's job. So straight easterly clearance. There is like a small thing down here, but alright, job done. Next one is this guy. He can take it. And then last will be Frowny. Nice, nice, nice. Good clearance. That was a real nice little lane work at the end there. Who put in all the work? Let's have a look. Romeo done a lot. Frowny done a lot again. Frowny's consistently doing a lot in these missions, which is pretty cool. We got... Did we get it? It looks like we did get our intel card as well. Let's watch it back. That was pretty clean overall. I don't think we took a hit from memory. Might have some fatigue soldiers after this, but things kicked on pretty quickly. I think we've done a pretty good job playing around the civilians. There was only one time where I really risked a civilian death, which was the grenade over this way. But I think just deliberate clearance, holding each of these. Oh, yep. When the smoke faded, that was obviously a small mistake. This guy just getting left out. I think it's a girl, actually. June. So we did take a hit right now. Yeah. We had coverage that he did get the counter real quick. It was just not an optimal position. So maybe this guy, if he was over here, would have been a little bit better. Well, it's all good. I think Warlock done a really good job getting some really nice kills in some super tight lanes. When we were getting ready for the breach, there was actually quite a few kills by Warlock and the guy here. I kind of want to see the whole map to see where they achieved those kills. Using something explosive as cover is never a good idea, and I probably should not be doing this, but there he is, doing it anyway. And then we need to go back and forth on these guys, unfortunately. But it's okay. And it's time to make entry on our first compound.
Placing charge. Tango down.
Yeah, a couple of nice kills. That was what I was talking about. I was hearing some gunfire, but I couldn't quite see it.
Got it. Flash out.
Flash out. Alright. First person for the job. No need to rush. The only time you need to rush is like hostage rescue or potential HVT ones if they have an escape route. You don't need to worry about it all too much. Small mistake there. That guy should have kept moving instead of stopping the fire. But hey, I'm just coming back, so I'm going to give myself that excuse. There's the frag we were talking about earlier, the only risk to civilians. But we just need to clear it by fire. Or kinetically clear it, whatever you want to, whatever term you want to use for that. Obviously, if this was, you know, an expanded map and that kept going, that's a lot trickier to cross and probably requires a smoke.
Clear. Changing mag.
A bit of a tricky building, this one. I didn't really do much analysis on it before we hit it. And it wasn't until I had one person in the room that I realized that I needed one more person. Just one more person would have made this building a little bit easier. But we kind of just didn't have that immediately. But still, it was fine. We didn't actually need to worry about anything. The camera got a little bit of work. And then it's into the shanty town and our triple lane grab. Because in a way, now that I think about it, we already kind of cleared vertically a lot of these. Yeah, people can move around. But I think, obviously, most of the dead space is horizontally. So, I think it was a smart decision. Bang, bang, bang. Nice.
Good job. Mission complete.
Good job. Mission complete. Well said. Alright, that leaves us here. We have 20 troops available for deployment. Frowny got a promotion. We've got 3 new ones, with 1 being an Intel. I think the only person sitting out would be June. And like I said, we got that upgrade on Frowny. So anyway, that'll end it for today's episode. Welcome back. I hope that was still entertaining. Hopefully I haven't lost my touch. And if I have, it's all good because we will pick things up anyway. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.